Failure is not the end, it is the beginning of something greater. Too many people see failure as a wall, but I tell you today, it is a doorway. It is a process, a refining fire that shapes, molds, and prepares you for the greatness that is already within you. The only reason failure feels like defeat is because we have been taught to fear it rather than embrace it. But if you can shift your perspective, if you can see failure not as an enemy, but as a teacher, then you will understand that every setback is simply a setup for a comeback. Every great leader, every world changer, every history maker has faced failure. It is not the absence of failure that defines success, but the determination to rise after falling. Your struggles are proof that you are trying, proof that you are stretching, proof that you are stepping into something greater than where you are. If you never fail, it means you are not growing. If you never face challenges, it means you are staying within the boundaries of comfort, and nothing great is ever birthed in comfort. A seed must first die in the ground before it can rise as a tree. The process of breaking, of being buried under the weight of difficulty, is what gives you the strength to push through the soil and reach for the sky. Every failure, every mistake, every disappointment is adding something to you. It is making you wiser, stronger, and more resilient. It is equipping you with the knowledge and experience you will need to sustain the greatness you are stepping into. Failure is a doorway, not a wall. It is one of the greatest misconceptions in life that failure is something to be feared, avoided, or treated as a sign of weakness. People have been conditioned to see failure as a final destination, a barrier that stops progress, rather than as a passageway to something greater. But the truth is, failure is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to develop you. It is not there to block you, but to prepare you for the next level. When a person encounters failure, the first reaction is often frustration, disappointment, or even shame. This is because society has placed an unfair expectation on success, making it seem as if those who succeed never fail. Yet, history proves otherwise. Every great leader, every successful entrepreneur, every visionary who has ever made an impact has experienced failure multiple times. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not the absence of failure, but the way they respond to it. Some see failure as a sign to stop, while others see it as a lesson to learn. Those who embrace failure understand that it is not a wall to keep them out, but a doorway to help them step into something greater. Failure introduces you to yourself. It exposes weaknesses, reveals flaws in your approach, and forces you to confront the areas where growth is necessary. It strips away the illusion of perfection and teaches humility. Many people desire success, but are not prepared for what success requires. They want to achieve great things, but they do not want to go through the refining process. But without failure, there can be no true wisdom. Without mistakes, there can be no deep understanding of what works and what does not. Imagine a child learning to walk. The child does not get up and immediately start running. Instead, they stumble, fall, and get back up again. Each time they fall, they are learning balance, strength, and coordination. If the child were to see falling as a reason to stop trying, they would never learn to walk. But because they embrace the process, they eventually master the very thing that once made them fall. The same principle applies in life. Failure is teaching you how to walk in your purpose, how to navigate challenges, and how to develop the skills necessary to sustain success. In every area of life, failure plays a role in shaping those who are willing to keep going. In business, failed attempts lead to innovation. In relationships, misunderstandings teach communication. In leadership, mistakes produce wisdom. The most successful individuals are not those who have never failed, but those who have failed and refuse to stay down. They understand that each failure brings them closer to where they are meant to be. Fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons people never reach their full potential. They are so afraid of making mistakes that they refuse to take risks, and in doing so, they remain stuck in mediocrity. They stay within their comfort zones, never stretching, never growing, never stepping into the greatness that lies just beyond their fears. But those who recognize failure as a doorway understand that each attempt, each misstep, and each setback is actually moving them forward. They see failure not as a rejection, but as redirection. It is guiding them, teaching them, and equipping them with the knowledge and resilience needed to handle success when it comes. Those who fear failure often compare themselves to those who seem to have everything together. They look at successful individuals and assume they never struggled, never stumbled, never faced rejection. But what they do not see is the countless times those individuals failed in private before they succeeded in public. They do not see the long nights of trial and error, the moments of doubt, the times when everything seemed to fall apart. They only see the finished product, not the process that shaped it. Failure is not the end of the road. It is the path that leads to something greater. Setbacks are setups for comebacks. What often appears to be a major disappointment or a crushing defeat is, in reality, a hidden opportunity. Life has a way of teaching lessons through adversity, and setbacks serve as the foundation for some of the greatest breakthroughs. When you experience a setback, it is easy to feel discouraged, to question your ability, and to wonder if you are on the right path. But in those moments, the most important thing you can do is shift your perspective. Instead of seeing the setback as the end, recognize that it is positioning you for something greater. Some of the most successful people in the world have faced devastating setbacks before they achieve greatness. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is how they respond to failure. Some people allow setbacks to define them, to break them, and to convince them that they are not capable. Others use setbacks as motivation to push harder, to refine their skills, and to come back stronger. The reality is that no one reaches their full potential without facing obstacles along the way. The process of growth and development requires challenges because it is through struggle that strength is built. When an athlete trains for a competition, they do not simply walk into victory without resistance. They push their bodies beyond their limits, endure pain, and sometimes even experience injury. But every setback they face in training prepares them for the moment when they step onto the field. The same applies to life. Setbacks are not designed to destroy you. They reveal weaknesses that need to be addressed, areas that require improvement, and strategies that need to be refined. Without setbacks, there is no preparation. Without preparation, there is no lasting success. A setback often comes when you are on the verge of something great. It is as if life is testing you to see if you are truly ready for the next level. Many people give up right before their breakthrough because they misinterpret the setback as a sign to quit. But in reality, the setback is an indication that they are closer than they think. It is a moment of refinement, a season of preparation, a test of endurance. Those who understand this principle do not allow setbacks to defeat them. They use them as fuel to keep going. History is filled with stories of people who turned their greatest setbacks into their greatest comebacks. Entrepreneurs who were rejected multiple times before creating billion-dollar businesses. Athletes who suffered career-ending injuries but found a way to return stronger than ever. Leaders who faced failure after failure before changing the world. The common thread between them is that they refused to let their setbacks define them. They saw every challenge as an opportunity to grow, every failure as a lesson, and every disappointment as a stepping stone. The key to turning a setback into a setup for a comeback is mindset. If you allow yourself to believe that failure is final, you will never rise beyond your circumstances. But if you see each setback as part of the process, you will develop the resilience to keep moving forward. Challenges will come, obstacles will arise, and disappointments will happen, but none of these things have the power to stop you unless you allow them to. The only thing that can truly stop you is quitting. Life rewards those who refuse to stay down. It is not about how many times you fail. It is about how many times you get back up. Every setback is a setup for something greater. Every closed door is leading you to a better opportunity. Every delay is positioning you for something that you may not even see yet. If you can endure the process, if you can push past the pain, if you can trust that your setback is not the end, then you will experience the power of a true comeback. Growth requires discomfort. It is human nature to seek comfort, to desire stability, and to avoid anything that brings pain or uncertainty. But true growth does not happen in places of ease. It happens in the moments of struggle, in the seasons of difficulty, and in the challenges that stretch you beyond what you thought you could handle. The reality is that comfort zones are prisons disguised as safe places. They keep you from reaching your full potential, from discovering new abilities, and from stepping into the greatness that is waiting for you. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant had to endure discomfort. Athletes push through pain in training because they understand that without pressure, there is no progress. Entrepreneurs take risks, face uncertainty, and experience failure because they know that without stepping into the unknown, there is no reward. Leaders make difficult decisions, take responsibility for challenges, and endure criticism because they understand that growth demands sacrifice. The path to success is never paved with comfort. It is built through persistence, resilience, and an unwillingness to settle for what is easy. When a seed is planted in the soil, it does not grow in comfort. It must break apart, push through the dirt, and fight to reach the surface. The process of growth is not gentle, it is not effortless. It is full of resistance, pressure, and obstacles. But without that struggle, the seed would never become a tree. Without the pressure, the roots would never grow deep enough to sustain the weight of the branches. The same principle applies to life. Without discomfort, there is no expansion. Without struggle, there is no strength. Most people want success without sacrifice. They want results without resistance. But nothing of value comes without a price. A diamond is formed under extreme pressure. Gold is refined in intense heat. Muscles are built through stress and tension. The things that are most valuable in life require a process, and that process is never comfortable. Those who avoid discomfort remain stuck, repeating the same patterns, living the same routines, and wondering why nothing changes. Those who embrace discomfort, however, experience transformation. They learn new skills, develop stronger character, and unlock potential they never knew existed. The fear of discomfort is what keeps people from taking risks. It is what stops them from pursuing dreams, from stepping out in faith, from making bold moves. They convince themselves that staying where they are is safer, but in reality, stagnation is the greatest risk of all. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but over time it leads to frustration, regret, and unfulfilled potential. Growth requires stepping into the unknown, facing challenges head-on, and being willing to endure temporary discomfort for lasting success. Challenges are not meant to destroy you, they are meant to develop you. The struggles you face today are strengthening you for the future. The discomfort you endure now is preparing you for the opportunities ahead. Every great achievement requires a process of preparation, and that process is never easy. But those who push through, who refuse to back down, who embrace the difficulty, are the ones who emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable than they ever imagined. People often admire those who have achieved great things, but they do not see the discomfort those individuals endure to get there. They see the success, but not the sacrifices. They see the results, but not the resistance that was overcome. Growth is not about wishing for an easier path. It is about developing the strength to handle the journey. The moment you stop avoiding discomfort and start embracing it, you step into a new level of power, resilience, and unstoppable determination. Your struggles are proof of progress. Too often, people interpret difficulty as a sign that something is wrong, that they are off course, or that they should turn back. But the very presence of struggle is evidence that you are moving forward. Struggle is the resistance that comes when you are pushing beyond your current limits, stepping outside of your comfort zone, and growing into something greater than you were before. The fact that you are facing obstacles means you are in motion, and anything in motion will encounter resistance. When a baby takes its first steps, the struggle is real. The legs are weak, the balance is unsteady, and falling is inevitable. But each attempt strengthens the muscles, improves coordination, and builds the confidence needed to walk without fear. The struggle is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of progress. In the same way, when you face difficulties in your journey, it is not an indication that you should stop. It is proof that you are learning, adapting, and moving forward. Every person who has ever accomplished something worthwhile has had to push through struggles. The greatest inventors faced countless failed experiments before making breakthroughs. The most successful entrepreneurs endured rejection, financial setbacks, and moments of doubt before reaching success. The strongest leaders have gone through seasons of uncertainty, criticism, and personal sacrifice. None of them reach their goals without struggle, and neither will you. The struggle is part of the process because it is what strengthens you, refines your character, and equips you with the wisdom and resilience to sustain the success that is coming. Struggles reveal your capacity for growth. They test your endurance, your patience, and your commitment. When you face a challenge, you have two choices: to see it as an excuse to give up, or to see it as an opportunity to become stronger. Those who quit allow struggles to defeat them, but those who persist use struggles to develop them. Just like a tree that grows deeper roots when faced with strong winds, you gain strength in the face of adversity. Every challenge you overcome makes you wiser, tougher, and more prepared for what is ahead. People often believe that if they are truly meant to succeed, the path should be smooth. They assume that struggle means they are doing something wrong, but that is not the case. The struggle is necessary because it is shaping you. It is removing weaknesses, exposing areas that need improvement, and forcing you to develop skills you didn't even know you needed. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly without a struggle. It must fight its way out of the cocoon, strengthening its wings in the process. If someone were to interfere and remove the struggle, the butterfly would never fly. Likewise, the struggles you face are not meant to stop you. They are meant to prepare you for the next level of your journey. The pressure you feel today is the weight that is building your strength for tomorrow. Every hardship is an opportunity to learn. Every setback is a lesson. Every difficulty is a stepping stone. The most successful people do not have fewer struggles. They have simply learned how to use their struggles to grow. They refuse to let obstacles define them. Instead, they allow their challenges to refine them. They understand that struggle is not an enemy, but a teacher. The only time struggle should concern you is if there is none at all. A lack of struggle means there is no growth, no movement, no stretching beyond what is comfortable. Struggle means you are on the path to something greater. The question is not whether you will face struggles, but how you will respond to them. Will you let them break you, or will you let them build you? Will you see them as roadblocks, or will you see them as stepping stones? The choice is yours. Fear of failure is the real failure. Many people never reach their full potential, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they are afraid to fail. They allow the fear of making mistakes to keep them from taking risks, from pursuing their dreams, from stepping into the unknown. This fear is not real. It is a mental barrier, a self-imposed limitation that prevents progress. The irony is that in trying to avoid failure, people actually guarantee it. The greatest failure is not falling, it is refusing to try. Failure itself is not the problem. Every successful person has failed multiple times. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not the absence of failure, but the response to it. Some allow failure to paralyze them, while others use it as fuel to grow. Those who succeed understand that failure is a natural part of the journey. They do not fear it because they know that each failure contains valuable lessons, and those lessons are necessary for achieving greatness. The most dangerous thing is not to fail, but to never attempt anything meaningful because of the fear of failing. People often ask, what if I fail? But a better question is, what if I never try? Regret is far worse than failure. The pain of failure is temporary, but the pain of never trying lasts a lifetime. Many people spend years stuck in the same place, not because they are incapable of moving forward, but because they have convinced themselves that failure is something to avoid at all costs. They choose comfort over challenge, safety over growth, and as a result, they never discover what they are truly capable of. The fear of failure is rooted in the desire for approval. People worry about what others will think if they fail. They fear being judged, criticized, or looked down upon. But the truth is, those who succeed do not waste time worrying about the opinions of others. They understand that failure is temporary, but progress is permanent. Those who criticize are often the ones who never dared to try in the first place. The people who make the biggest impact in the world are the ones who have learned to ignore fear and keep moving forward despite the risks. Children do not fear failure the way adults do. A child learning to walk does not give up after falling. They get back up again and again because they do not see failure as something negative. They see it as part of the process. If a child feared failure the way many adults do, they would never learn to walk, never learn to ride a bike, never learn to speak. Somewhere along the way, people are taught to fear failure instead of embracing it, and that fear keeps them from growing. The only way to overcome the fear of failure is to take action despite it. Waiting for the fear to disappear will never work because fear only fades when it is confronted. Every time you push past fear, it loses its power. The more you act in the face of fear, the stronger you become. Confidence does not come from avoiding failure. It comes from facing it and realizing that it does not have the power to stop you. Failure is not a destination, it is a stepping stone. Every failure brings new knowledge, new insight, and new opportunities. Those who achieve great things are not those who never fail, but those who refuse to let failure define them. They fall, they learn, they adjust, and they try again. The real failure is never taking the first step. Fear is an illusion. And the only way to defeat it is to act in spite of it. Fear of failure is the only thing standing between where you are and where you are meant to be. The choice is whether to let it hold you back or to push past it and step into your destiny. Destiny favors the persistent. Life does not reward the talented, the intelligent, or the lucky. It rewards those who refuse to quit. The ones who rise to greatness are not always the most gifted, but they are always the most determined. They are the ones who push forward when everything seems to be working against them. They are the ones who refuse to let failure, rejection, or obstacles stop them. They understand that persistence is more powerful than any setback, and because of that, they keep going when others give up. Persistence is the difference between those who succeed and those who do not. Many people start strong, full of excitement and energy. But the moment they face difficulty, they retreat. They assume that challenges mean they are on the wrong path, that obstacles are signs to turn back. But those who understand the power of persistence see challenges differently. They recognize that difficulties are a natural part of the journey, that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, that every setback is a chance to refine their approach. The difference between those who win and those who lose is not their circumstances, it is their willingness to keep moving forward no matter what. The most successful people in history all have one thing in common. They refuse to give up. They faced failure after failure, but instead of allowing those failures to defeat them, they used them as stepping stones. They understood that every rejection, every disappointment, and every closed door was simply part of the process. They did not wait for things to get easier. They decided to push through when things were difficult. They did not rely on motivation. They relied on discipline and determination. They refused to let temporary struggles define their future. Persistence is the ability to keep going even when there is no visible evidence that success is near. It is continuing to work on your vision when no one believes in it. It is refusing to be discouraged by delays, setbacks, or criticism. Most people give up because they do not see results fast enough. They plant seeds but lose patience before they have a chance to grow. They start projects but abandon them when challenges arise. But those who succeed understand that results take time, that breakthroughs come to those who endure, and that consistency is more valuable than short bursts of effort. A farmer does not plant a seed today and expect a harvest tomorrow. He understands that growth happens in stages. First, the seed must break through the soil. Then it must develop roots. Then it must withstand storms, droughts, and harsh conditions. Only after enduring all of this does it finally bear fruit. Success works the same way. It does not happen instantly, and it does not happen without struggle. But those who remain committed, who refuse to give up when things get difficult, are the ones who eventually see the harvest. Most people admire success, but few are willing to endure the process required to achieve it. They want the rewards without the struggle, the results without the sacrifice. But destiny does not favor the ones who quit when it gets tough. It favors the ones who persist. It favors the person who keeps showing up, who keeps learning, who keeps improving, who refuses to surrender to fear, failure, or fatigue. It favors the person who gets knocked down but refuses to stay down. The journey to greatness is not a straight path. It is filled with detours, roadblocks, and unexpected turns. It will test your patience, your strength, and your commitment. But those who understand that persistence is the key never allow temporary difficulties to make them abandon their dreams. They know that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. They know that if they refuse to quit, they will eventually reach their destination. The ones who keep going despite everything are the ones who ultimately achieve what others only dream about. Greatness is not reserved for the most talented or the luckiest. It belongs to those who embrace failure, push through struggles, and refuse to quit. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every failure is a lesson that brings you closer to success. Growth demands discomfort. Struggles confirm progress, and fear of failure is the only real failure. But destiny favors those who persist, those who keep moving forward despite obstacles, and those who refuse to surrender to doubt. The journey will not be easy, but if you embrace every difficulty as part of the process, if you push past fear and keep pressing forward, nothing will be able to stop you from reaching your full potential. The choice is in your hands. Rise above. Stay the course and step into your greatness.